Welcome. Now we will integrate our item repository into our item service layer. So for that, we'll just go ahead and add our repository here, private repository, item repository. And then we need to do an auto add here so that the bean memory that it will get. So because now the item repository implementation class is not created by us, it will be created by Spring Data JPA. So that will be automatically marked as at the rate repository. But then for injection of that bean, singleton bean into our service layer, we need to make sure we do it auto add. So now we will simply say item repository dot save, and then we'll say item DTO. But here we have a problem now. This does not take item DTO, it takes item entity. So we need to convert the item DTO to item entity. So for conversion, we could get one by one fields of item DTO and set it into item entity. Instead, we will use Spring provided utility method. So I will say item entity equal to new item entity. And then instead of getting one field and setting it here, what we will do is we'll say first we'll say new item entity dot set. We need to do created date time as local date time now, control D, same way set updated date time as now, and now we will say bean utils dot copy bean properties, copy properties, and we'll pass from where to where. In the item DTO we have the data, we'll copy from there and paste it in the item entity. After pasting, we will just change we will basically set this as these values, and then we can save the item entity into our database. And if we save it, it should be saved, but let's say what is the error? Yeah, now it is not returning item DTO. So for we need to return item DTO. So what I will do is to show you a difference why we need to have DTO. Let's say here I will change the field as underscore ID. So now you will see what will happen. We need from here we get an item entity which we can store it in the same field as this one. So this item entity will have everything null here because we do new. We have copied whatever is coming from the DTO. So if we pass only title and description, it will come here. But then what about the other things? Title description will be populated here, but date created at updated at will be populated from here. But ID was still null. When we save the item in the DB, database will generate the ID by using the primary key and the auto generation strategy that we have used, and that ID will be returned. And now because the ID will be returned when we have the new when this entity will be coming from DB and get assigned here, it will also have ID. So it will have title, description, created at, updated at, and ID. But now we need to return DTO from here. So what we will do is we will do the same thing. We will say bean utils dot copy bean properties, but this time reverse. We will copy item entity to item DTO. But then remember our item DTO we have changed the field of, let's say, uh, underscore ID. So we need to explicitly now set item DTO dot set underscore ID get it from item entity dot get ID. So this is what you have to do manually when you have different fields in your DTO and field names in your DTO and entity. This happens when the project is quite big. So I'm showing you an example. And now we can just return the item DTO from here. So now it will first copy the data, then save it in the DB, return the database saved entity, copy that entity data into item DTO because the name of the field of ID was different. So we have to explicitly copy it and then it returns from here. And finally it reaches our controller, and from the controller it goes to the requester of the API. So this was it for this video. Thank you.